Our hero's journey is at an end.
Oh, what a week of thinking non-stop about Krull.
Yeah, man. Yeah? This is... Welcome to my whole life.
Ho ho ho, happy Krullsmas. And welcome to Pink Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up to Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is Gareth Blackler.
My name is James. Hello, James Barron. Jingle Bell James, I've been called in the past. How's it
That's
going?
good.
Yeah.
Who's called you that before?
I don't know, just elves running about. I don't know. They're all out there. It's Christmas. They're everywhere. You can't fucking move for elves. Is your
Exactly.
house not full of elves? Because mine is.
Mine's full of reindeer, which I think the elves are, hiding underneath.
Oh, yeah. My reindeer haven't arrived yet, but I assume there's a lot of talk about them. But anyway. Merry Christmas, Gareth. How's it hanging? It's Christmas time, surely.
It is Christmas time. I'm Christmasing. I don't know. I feel like I've listened to a lot of Christmas music just by myself.
Oh, yeah?
I've sorted all my shopping, which is always good. And yeah, I'm just ready to ride out the Christmas of the world's weirdest year.
Yeah, absolutely. And what better way to do it, Gareth, than by watching an all-time classic Christmas movie? Except for the fact that we definitely didn't do that. And instead have watched one of our favourite movies, KRULL. I feel like we've been mentioning KRULL from like this show's inception, but
yeah, for sure. What is the story of KRULL? I know KRULL through you, but I'm pretty sure I watched it for the first time you watched it, right?
Yeah, so it's an old one from when I lived like in the middle of Christchurch City in my first flat, and I think it's from there. And a friend of ours like introduced us to this movie KRULL, and it's like I would describe KRULL as if Lord of the Rings and Star Wars came together and had like a low budget child. It's before it was KRULL like in response to the first Star Wars. It came after Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 1983, so I'm not sure where that falls in Star Wars, but it's definitely after Star Wars. And you can tell.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's at least after the first two movies. So it's very Star Warsy in tone, but also like got this weird fantasy bent to it. I think to like get away from the whole like it's in space kind of thing, but the whole movie is in space. So I don't know. It's a different planet. KRULL is the name of a planet, Gareth.
Yeah, which is also very strange.
Yeah. It's like, why name the movie after a planet that no one has ever heard of? This is a weird choice.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, people always forget. So there's a weapon called the glaive, which a lot of people call the KRULL.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if the hero was named KRULL or something else. Like if you really want to name a film KRULL, there's many other things you can name your made-up word.
That's absolutely right. My gosh.
Yeah. The original draft was to be called The Dragons of KRULL.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting choice considering the film features no dragons.
Exactly.
I can see why they would have to change that title, but my gosh, that's great. Man, I would have loved to see a dragon in this universe. Never mind.
Yeah, that's all that's missing.
Yeah.
This film, I know, like... Okay, so this film, when we watched it, I'm pretty sure we watched it around Christmas.
Yeah.
The year we watched it. And then we watched it, then immediately watched it again.
Yes.
And then 2 days later, we had a friend over and we're like, we've got to show you KRULL. And because of that, KRULL was the last movie we watched in 2013, and then was the first movie we watched in 2014.
Yes, I remember that very
The book
vividly.
ending was so strong.
Yeah. Completely accurate. And I don't regret that at all.
No.
There's also a high potentiality that happens again this year. It could just be our bookend film for the year, and that we watch it at Christmas time, we watch something else, or we keep going with Krull again. You know,
Yeah.
could well
I mean,
happen.
to be honest, yeah, that year wasn't like a great year for me, and the next year was really good.
There you
So,
go.
like, maybe it's the Krull trick.
The secret Krull trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your wish will be granted, and your following year will be improved by
Yeah.
completing this one simple ritual. Filmmakers hate him.
Is that like a pop-up ad?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Ah.
It could be.
So, oh, sorry.
No. I was just going to say this. Yeah, it could well be a Christmas tradition on this show to watch Krull, but I don't know. Like, we might. I feel like there will be pressure eventually for us to cover an actual Christmas film.
Yeah.
But-
Let's save that for like July.
Okay, that's more in keeping with this show's whole aesthetic, I think. As
Yeah.
well, yeah. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to talking about Krull.
Yes,
a
you
favourite.
use a term a lot called, like, where you say something is fantasy as hell,
Yes.
and this film is fantasy as hell. But I've just always wondered, how does something go from being fantasy to being fantasy as hell?
Okay. Well, it's just taking something to the nth degree, effectively. Going like saying things can be. There are fantasy films, and they make perfect sense. They're just like the setting is fantasy or whatever. Krull is like if someone had a collection of fantasy books in their youth, and then 30 years later had to write a film and had to come up with like a bunch of rad fantasy shit to happen in this film, like in one night. And they just, they like tried to recall all these titles for books and just threw them all on a whiteboard and then made a film from that bullet point list. Like, that is what is fantasy as shit about this movie. They just like kept coming up with like rad ideas.
Yeah.
Like the fucking prophecy at the start of this film being like the Slayers and the Beast and stuff like that. It's like, come on, man, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm into it.
And there's so much, like, everyone pulls these like plot devices just out of their hats.
Yeah.
And everyone in the world is like, yes, we know this from the prophecy.
I feel like
It is very dangerous.
it's true. I feel like that's true, but a lot of the characters I feel like are just going along with whatever happens, especially the main character, Colwyn.
Oh yes.
He's just
the
like
look on his face.
yeah, he's just some dude like following along, like various people telling him what to do, and he's just like when the fucking okay, this is a real ass sentence that we're gonna get to. When the Emerald Seer has taken them to the Emerald Temple, Gareth, and he gets there and he's like, only the one who seeks the knowledge may enter. And Colwyn's just like doesn't even say anything. He's just like, yeah, that makes sense, and they just go in together. Like that is exactly the aesthetic of Krull. Like that whole
Yeah.
vibe. Just strange,
Absolutely.
insane fantasy things happening to a person. And that person could be you if you watch. So
Yes.
are we ready to get into it? See how it's
Yes.
synced up with our favourite Pink Floyd album, Gareth.
Is this still your favorite Pink Floyd album?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it kind of
same.
has to be by default, right, at this
Yeah.
point. I've listened to it more than any other Pink Floyd album, and potentially any album ever. So, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like by sheer girth of listening, it's my favorite, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah, like if you die and they like give you all the stats of your life and
my
you see
God.
that this much time was spent listening to Pink Floyd and they're like you get to heaven and they've like looked at only the stats of your life and they're trying to build you a perfect heaven and they're like, oh, you listen to Dark Side of the Moon a lot, so here you go. It's all Dark Side of the Moon themed.
Just on all the time. And I'd be
Yeah,
like,
that's what you liked.
I would be like, I'm not angry,
Yeah.
but I am upset. I'm used to it. I would get used to it. I think it'd be fine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Shall
Alright.
we talk about Krull and how it's
Yes,
synced
please.
up? Let's do it. Okay, speak to me, Gareth. Here we go. Starting the album. We're playing over just like the glaive flying around in space. The glaive, for people that haven't seen Krull, which I assume there are multiple, is like a 5-pointed star-shaped weapon made of gold that has little like extendy blades coming out the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
It
just
operates like a boomerang or a frisbee.
yeah, but basically has like a will of its own. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, fantasy is shit. It's never explained what it does, what it's for, but you know, yeah, it flies around in space and reveals our sweet title card, KRULL, which is like a massive, glowing thing in space. This fucking movie starts out so fucking hard. It's so funny. We're getting Lovely Breathe playing over this like spaceship / rock flying through space that like reaches a point in space and then like spins around and then descends onto a planet, and we see that it's like a big building that is like, or like a big castle made of like shards of rock and stuff. It's fucking wild, the start of this movie.
You're so right that it starts off so hard, but it's the rare thing where it's going hard and slow.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It is just drifting across like two suns, landing on this planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the planet of KRULL, which I feel like is mentioned in the start of this film. But then, like, it doesn't matter. It's not important at all. It's just got a crazy name. KRULL's just the name of the planet, okay? Importantly, the beast is an alien. We're getting some, like, little bit of exposition-y stuff at the start. With, like, the beast and the slayers and the Black Fortress. This thing that's come down from space is called the Black Fortress. And, we've got the beast chilling in there. He's our main antagonist. And his little friends, the Slayers, who I think we see at this point.
They start like heading out, ready to do some slaying.
Yeah. This, like, I am in good hands already because this little intro says the line, "Whether the prophecy be true," which is something that I wish was said more.
Yeah.
I wish there was more prophecy in my life, Gareth.
I guess you could start
just want to abide by
getting real into horoscopes and call them the prophecy.
Yeah, I feel like, I guess so. That's pretty much on the same level, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The prophecy be true. I will face challenges in communication today.
Thine lucky numbers, 14, 38. Oh, gosh. There's a girl of ancient name that shall become queen, and her child will rule the galaxy, Gareth.
Yes.
That's the gist of this prophecy. It's a lot.
It's not, like, super important to the movie. I feel like if there were sequels, it would be.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, like, a bit with, we meet main girl, Lissa, the princess. Beautiful, flowing, orange locks she's got.
Yeah.
There's about to be a marriage between her and Colwyn, who's our main character guy. The hero, fantasy hero trope 1 here. He is traveling with like a retinue of dudes, his father and all that, to the castle to like have this marriage and form an alliance between like two kingdoms because the beast is here and he's fucking everything up. It's basically the gist of KRULL is that like a fucking alien lands in a fantasy land and just starts wrecking shop, and the kingdoms have to like come together to stop an alien invasion.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That sums it up, and as awesome as it is.
Yeah.
But just imagine if you'd taken a long time to say that sentence and you'd like looked out a few windows mid-word.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're getting the KRULL experience.
That's the true KRULL following, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, it just sounds like a fever dream whenever you try and describe it. Like, you explain all this stuff and then they're like, what was the movie's name again? And you're like, KRULL. And we're like, okay. We get, so they're traveling all over to the castle over on the run. There's a good horse riding sequence with On the Run, which is like as close as we're going to get to like cars and KRULL. So, you know.
There's one thing we're coming up to that are essentially cars.
Oh, yeah?
And I love them.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, so the crash sound and On the Run doesn't really align with much, except it's like happens like just before they arrive, so whatever. Yeah, they open up the like castle gates and we're getting like footsteps on the album, and that like is aligning with like these hoofbeats on the castle floor. All the horses coming in, trotting in. That's working for me. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's good.
Could be horses on the album. We don't know. Yeah. So what have I got next? We got Colin. He's like, I'm gonna like align these two nations and then lead the army of their combined forces against the Slayers and take them down. And yeah, Lissa seems very excited for the marriage. It's gonna be good. They kind of like hitting it off.
Yeah, he gets a little bit like men's rights.
Oh yeah.
In there, like, she's like, my father says good warriors make bad husbands, and he's like, ooh, that depends if you want a husband who will jump when you say jump and stuff. And you're like, dude.
All right, Colin.
I mean, we don't know what year it is on KRULL, but this could be real outdated.
Mate, it's 2020 on Earth. Step it up.
Yeah. Colwyn. We haven't really analysed Colwyn yet. Colwyn is our hero.
Yeah.
He has very 80s hair.
Massively
he dresses
so.
like Robin Hood.
Yep.
Very tight, stripy tights.
Yes.
And he is stoked to be in a movie. He is so happy that he's like getting to be on screen saying this stuff. And he forgets a lot that his character isn't stoked.
Yes, I feel a lot of the time the actor is just like thrilled to be there and having a great time on set, but like forgets to do any real acting. He's just sort of like having fun with all the stuff that's happening around him, you know? I do love I love his princely aesthetic, as you say, his like tights that he wears throughout the whole movie, which is hilarious. Very old school fantasy.
The actor who played him went to Juilliard.
Cool.
And he was in there at the same time as Kelsey Grammer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Imagine very different careers.
Yeah, imagine a world where Kelsey Grammer was the lead of KRULL and this guy went on to be in Frasier.
Or imagine same person, like after KRULL went into Cheers and Frasier.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd been pretty crazy.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. I don't know, he does kind of have, he's got like the hero's aesthetic, you know. He's got this great wavy Prince here, which I'm into.
Yes.
Yeah. He's
very much your post-Luke Skywalker hero.
Oh, totally, yes.
Yeah.
He's filling that archetype almost exactly. Except for his, like, shitty little beard that he's got going on, but, you know.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
And that's coming from me.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, so the wedding is coming up. It's going to be at moonrise, and there's a lot of pomp and circumstance at this here wedding. A lot of like ritual type stuff, like we were talking about earlier. The two like dads come out with these like flaming scepters, and they're like, a single kingdom under our children, and then they like extinguish their flames, like effectively giving up their kingdom rights in this instance. There's a lot of flame imagery throughout this whole sequence. I don't know.
Oh, heck yeah.
Some kind of KRULL custom, a KRULLstom out there. I don't really know, but flame appears to be important. But yeah, the marriage is going well, but there's like fucking some dark riders are coming out, the Slayers. We don't really get a good look at them here. But it's coming on as Time's vocal just kicks in as soon as we see these riders coming out.
Yeah.
I'm into it. And there's this old ass dude with fingerless gloves in the woods who's just hanging out. He's looking worried. He's got friendly...
I was trying to figure out what my note meant when I wrote an old man looks, and that's what it is.
That is what it is, yes. This little old man. He's got friendly chops. We'll meet him in a bit. Yeah, so the wedding itself starts with their, like, walking down the aisle, and there's these... the guards of both kingdoms are here, and they're just slapping their shields with swords, going blap, 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 all the way down. And all the armor of all these guards is, like, very Stormtrooper-esque. It looks like it's made out of plastic.
Yeah.
You could like buy an action figure of one of these guards pretty easily, or buy any other action figure and melt it down a bit to make it look like one of these guards.
Yeah, what are you doing to your stormtrooper? I'm making a Krull.
I'm turning him into a Krull guard. Alright, boy.
I'm recreating the wedding scene.
In my favorite film, Krull. That boy.
The thing is,
and
in
cried.
1983, there would have been kids where this was their favorite movie, and they like talked about it all the time, like with their parents, and
Oh god, totally.
dreamt of a Krull sequel that never came.
It would have been me. If I was born like
Yeah, same.
if I was born like 15 years earlier or something, and I was old enough to have seen this in the cinema, I reckon I would have been like, I would have not been allowed to see Star Wars because I'd be too young, and the first thing that I'd been able to see would be Krull in the cinema, and it would have just like blown my mind. Everyone would be talking about Star Wars, and I'd be like, yeah, but have you seen Krull?
You finally do
God.
get to see Star Wars, and you're like, oh yeah, it's like Krull.
And they totally ripped off Krull. It's Krull, but with space. Oh my gosh. This dude's
What
in
would-
the desert. What's his deal?
What would you have done for the further like 8 Krull sequels? Or is this jumping ahead way too much?
I don't know. Are you wanting me to pitch 8 Krull sequels to you, Gareth? Because that's a lot of
right
work.
now.
Oh my god. I feel like you've thrown to me for bits that haven't been prepared for before. But wow, this is a big ask.
I suppose the next one is like the Beast wins or something, and
Yeah.
he finds out maybe
Rise
he
of the
actually
Beast.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the heroes win again, and then the prequels.
Of Krull.
Oh, about how the Beast became the Beast. Hell yeah!
Yes.
That sounds awesome.
We're back in. Sounds great.
Yeah.
And
I'd love to see more of the planet Krull. I bet they've got like an ice part and like.
yeah. We've seen it. There is a nice part. We saw it.
Oh, there is
Yeah.
In fact, we've seen most of Krull because the Black Fortress famously teleports itself all around Krull.
Yeah. Just for a bit. A perfect defense system.
It takes a whole
Oh
day
my
as
God.
well.
Makes getting mail really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, we're at the wedding.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So they're bashing their shields. Very excited. So the marriage ceremony involves giving. Colin has a flaming scepter just like his dad had earlier, and he says, "I give fire to water," and he just dunks it in the water,
Yeah.
and apparently the fire will return in the hand of the woman he loves, and so Lissa dunks her hand in and then pulls out this very badly inserted flame attached to her hand. A lot of the special effects in this movie are not great. They're probably fine for the time, but there's some sketchy stuff happens. There's some really great stuff later on, but some of the green screen looks really bad. But other things I fucking love, and I'm very excited to talk about them.
Yeah.
Yes. So she's got the fire in her hand when suddenly the Slayers attack. They're here, Gareth. And they're firing fucking laser beams out of weird little scepter things that they have. So the aesthetic of the scepters, not the scepters, the Slayers, they look even more melted down action men. They've got they look kind of little crab men or something. They've got perfectly spherical heads encased in chitinous armor, effectively. And yeah, when you see one die, I think you see one die here in the fight scene that happens, but the little egg head of theirs bursts open and a tiny little squid crawls into the floor. It's very upsetting.
I don't know. Do you think they're dead, or do they escape into the floor to slay again?
Yeah,
at this
so
point?
that's what I think is happening. The life cycle of the Slayer I'm ready to get into here. I think that, the armor that they walk around in is a shell, and the true Slayer is this little, squiddy thing that, goes into the ground. And that, returns to the Black Fortress to like get a new shell, effectively.
I like that a lot.
It
Yeah.
like burrows its way there. Yeah, but it can just like it sort of just goes into the ground, like no matter where it is. Like it happens in the middle of a castle for one.
Yeah.
But
And it's like, it must be some sort of stop motion or something, and they speed it up, and it really, really looks like, no matter what audio file you're playing, whether it be Pink Floyd or the movie soundtrack, you want to hear it go like, I'm getting out of here.
yeah, man. Unfortunately, I think when the Slayers die in the actual soundtrack, they make this horrific like screech noise every time.
They do.
Yeah, they go
yes.
like as soon as they die. It's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, when they're fighting with swords and stuff, their little weapons create like red electricity whenever they hit anything.
Yeah.
Which is another great little effect. Again, very Star Wars-y, this whole thing. All the like laser beams and light effects and stuff. They're like, we've got the technology to do this, and we're going to use the shit out of it in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Sam.
So throughout this fight, the kings of both nations get killed off. Very sad. And Lissa gets like kidnapped and taken by the Slayers. Gets taken away as we go into Great Gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good, like, time for it to get sad.
Yeah. She's getting like taken away by the Slayers and like calling out to Colwyn through ADR, I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of ADR in this movie, but we don't really experience that. But yeah, he goes down, he gets shot by like one laser to the shoulder, which isn't enough to kill him, but enough to incapacitate him and go down.
Yeah.
Or something like that, yeah. But yeah, they ride off to the bloody Black Fortress. A lot of cheering Slayers around here.
Yeah, the Slayers are very supportive of each other.
Yeah. They're having a great time.
The vocals kick in for Great Gig in the Sky kind of as soon as the Slayers win as well, which I liked.
It's true. They'd like set like one little cart on fire. I think mainly because the like remainder of the set isn't flammable. It's all like big stone structures.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we'll just set this one thing that we can set on fire aflame, you know? Just to prove a point.
Get the message across. Yeah.
If there was more things made of wood around here, they would have set more on fire, but you know. Yes. Okay. So my next note is fantasy as shit. It says a lone rider arrives at the battlements and heals Colwyn. He like rubs some like weird little like putty or some shit on his wound. It looks gross. Like a salve or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's our fingerless gloves friendly chops man from earlier, from the woods, who's showed up.
The old one.
He is the old one. His name's Inyr in the film, I think is how it's said. It's spelt Y-N-Y-R, which is awful.
Very fantasy.
Yes.
And a little bit Welsh.
Oh, yeah. Inyr. He speaks pretty much all of his dialogue like this the whole time. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
But yeah, he says that Colwyn's effectively become king because his dad and also the other guy's kingdom, the other king has also died, so he's king of both kingdoms.
Yeah.
But Colwyn's cut up about this. His dad's dead, and he doesn't really want to continue on. He's like cowering.
Yeah, he does a very interesting. So he's got his shirt off.
Yeah.
And he like cowers and he like it tenses up to show that he's sad.
Yeah.
He's so doing it in a way that flexes his abs.
Oh, totally, yeah. He's showing off his buff bod. This is like one shirtless scene, I think, in the whole movie, so, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I want a shirtless scene. It's like, okay, but you're going to cry in it. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I'll figure this out.
I'll just tense my whole body, you know? You know, like you do when you cry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Inez like disappointed in him and ready to ride off, but he's like, Colwyn's like, you know how to save Lissa? And they're like, yeah. It's like, you've got to go to the Black Fortress. He's like, will you take me to it? And he's like, well, no, you'll fail. And so but there is another way. They can get the glaive, Gareth.
Yes.
That we've seen in the intro.
This is the crux of the KRULL plot, because it's you must do this thing.
Yeah.
It is impossible, but there is another way.
There's
but
another
in order
way.
to do this, we must do this. It is the only way.
Yeah.
Except for this, the other way, that is the only way.
The other only way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they go to all this trouble. Like the next bit of the quest, effectively, is to get the glaive, which involves climbing a lot of mountains.
Oh my god, he spends... I timed it.
Okay.
So, yeah, they get to the mountain. He sends Colwyn up.
We launch into
Colwyn
money
then...
here.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Colwyn is silently, other than money, climbing this mountain. At one point, he has to dodge some rocks. Then he gets back to climbing a mountain. It shoots him from a huge distance, the camera.
Massively far away.
Yeah. And he climbs this mountain silently for 3 minutes and 5 seconds.
Holy shit.
Which is the length of DNA by Kendrick Lamar, Kyoto by Phoebe Bridgers, or DDFH by Run the Jewels.
Wow. There you go.
And those songs, a lot happens in.
That's not a short song.
Yeah.
Imagine if they were all the music video. Like, the music video was just him climbing this mountain, dodging large polystyrene rocks. Oh my god. It's so lame.
Instead of like the Kendrick Lamar one that is like one of the definitive music videos of the last like 10 years.
Oh my god.
It's just
No.
Colwyn climbing.
Yeah, replace it with fucking KRULL, man. KRULL only. Destroy other art. It's my call to action. Merry Christmas.
That should be the merch for this show. Is KRULL only, destroy other art, Merry Christmas.
Fucking hell. That's a complicated shit. I like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. It goes for like a lot of money solo, this whole sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, before he even reaches the fucking cave. But we get there eventually. The vocal kicks back in, and we've got smoky and like ominous lava flowing everywhere. This lava is pretty much just water lit from below with red light, but you know, do what you can. He's cruising for a bruising Gareth as he reaches for the lava to get that glaive. He puts his hand in the lava.
No reservation, by the way. He's just keen to put his hand in that lava.
Yeah. Dead keen. He does it. It's like he's just grinning away, very excited. There's like more bad CG'd on flame onto his arm. Very good. He lifts it up like into the air, big hero pose, and like all this like crap falls off the glaive because it was buried in lava. And it's like, oh look, here it is in all its glory, the thing from the movie KRULL.
The hottest toy of 1983.
Yeah, we get it.
The glaive.
We get like, so this is, the next bit is like the first of like many surreal shots of within the Black Fortress, which I fucking love this movie for.
If you're going to watch this film, even if you're not into fantasy or into bad movies or good movies, you just like looking at things.
Yeah.
These are the shots that are worthwhile.
Yeah, if someone could cut all this together into a music video, that would be great. This would work really well. All the Black Fortress stuff. So we zoom in on like an eye floating in dark space, and this is like within the fortress is like a room inside it, and we see like Lissa in there. She's listening to like a little voiceover of the Beast who's just mocking her. Yeah. And we're hearing a sax solo, so that's funny. The sax solo from Us and Them. Just like, we're having this surreal experience, and it's just... It's good times. Yes, we learn that the Black Fortress moves every sunrise as its like power, which you mentioned before. Also, Ynir says here that he can't... He's like, wait until you need to use it, the glaive. It's like, you'll know the time is right when you use it. Yeah. And we're going to circle back to that at some point, because when he starts using the glaive, as soon as Ynir's kind of out of the picture, he just starts using it for everything, and it's really funny.
Yeah. It's just so, like, lazy writing, because it's like, they shouldn't have put the glaive moment here, or they should have had him unable to
God.
use the glaive or something.
I feel like the glaive should have been the MacGuffin for the film. Like, I feel like it should have been, like, right at the end that they get this, and then they go into the Black Fortress, right? Like, it shouldn't have been, like, 20 minutes in.
Yeah. Instead of spending the whole time trying to find out where the Black Fortress is, it should have been where to get the glaive.
Right? That would have made way more sense. Anyway, that's what we have to do now. We could be looking for the glaive, but instead we're looking for where the fortress is, and in order to do that, we must seek the blind emerald seer.
Oh, yes.
Of course, you know? That's just, again, it's just like more rad fantasy shit that is thrown in your face. Of course, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
And Colwyn's just like, oh yeah, okay, let's go. And so, yeah. Off they trot. The next bit, we meet my least favorite character here.
Yes.
A glowing light flies into like a pool or a little lake or something, a little pond, and we've got a comic relief character, Ergo the Magnificent, Gareth. Fun fact: this guy is in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He's one of the people in that great montage of all the people looking around for doing anything to get Wonka bars. He's one of those people, which is great.
He so is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But he has a much bigger role here.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
is a inept wizard who can transform into animals, and yeah, he's sort of like a bad Monty Python kind of character, I guess.
That's kind of the vibe, yeah. I think he thinks he has the power to transform other people into animals, but he only ever manages to transform himself. Still a great power. Pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's frustrated and useless. Basically using his magic to steal food, and that's sort of the extent of what he's been doing up until this point. But
yeah,
I don't know.
He had a difference in opinion over a pie, and that's
God.
also when he says difference of opinion, Pink Floyd say matter of words. So
there you go.
It's sort of something.
That counts.
Yeah,
they're listening. So in retaliation from a remark from Colwyn, he tries to turn him into a goose, but transforms into a goose himself with again, really, it looks like if someone tried to animate an Animorphs transformation from the cover of Animorphs.
Yeah.
And that, he sort of, sticks his hand out and that becomes the goose's neck and head. It's not good. I'm pretty sure they don't show any other animal transformations on screen after this.
Yeah, they show one more, but they shoot them in, 6 frames a second.
Yeah.
It's just duk, 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 duk. It is exactly an Animorphs cover. If Animorphs came with a page flipping thing.
Oh yeah, a flipperama of Animorphs transformations.
Yeah.
Man, why didn't they do that? That would have been hilarious.
Heck yeah.
Down the bottom corner of the page, you could just have the little fucking teenage kid turning into a dolphin.
That would be awesome. Across the whole book, as you're reading, he gets more and more into a dolphin. Yeah.
Come on, Animorphs. That would
I feel
have been
this
a freebie.
is the second time on the show we've fixed Animorphs.
Man, it just needs so much fixing, you know. What a fucking wild series. Oh,
yeah.
I want to do if we can somehow sync Pink Floyd with Animorphs, I'd be down to talk about one of those books because they are fucking wild.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, he delivers this weird monologue about himself. He says he's short in stature, tall in power, narrow of purpose, and wide of vision, which is just nothing. It sucks. But
what an odd character.
Yeah, here he is. He is gonna fuck off and leave them alone, but he encounters a strange Cyclops in the woods, Gareth. This is your first shot of the Cyclops, and I was genuinely scared as well because he doesn't look right. Oh my god!
I legit, got a fright from the Cyclops.
Yeah, he's very upsetting looking.
Yeah,
they've just covered over his eyes with makeup. I don't think he blinks yet, though. He can blink, and when that happens, boy howdy.
And they've balanced out because obviously having this eye made of makeup has like jutted his face out, so they've balanced it out with a really big wig with a very nice little fringe.
Yeah. Oh,
We'll get into. I feel like we'll dissect him properly when he joins the action, but this Cyclops, I don't like him.
We've got more to say. Yeah, we'll get to him. Anyway, Ergo joins the party, and we get a shot of the Black Fortress doing its teleporting thing, transporting to our icy location that we mentioned earlier, proving in his point that it changes location every morning. Yeah, what a nightmare. But when you're trying to like run the Slayers, like you got to do what you got to do.
These little squid Slayers, like, would have so much trouble trying to get back home to get their new bodies.
If you are like further than a day's trip away, you got to like be waiting around under the ground somehow, trying to wait for it to get close to you. There's no unless they can travel really, really far. But we know of only one thing that can do that, and we get more shots of Lissa in her little like prison zone, and there's like a crown and robe like sort of appears before her spectrally. Like the beast is sort of inviting her and tempting her into like being with him because he's way better than Cole, and like he can give her like all kinds of power and stuff and rule the galaxy, etc.
We don't see the beast yet, but we kind of. It's almost like the beast is the castle, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's very much like tied to his power anyway. It's very representative of him, all the sets and stuff. We see like an eye, and later on like a giant hand and stuff. It's just it's great. It's like a Tool video brought to life. Which is very fun.
It's such a beautiful set.
Yeah, we got
And speaking of beautiful set, let's meet a beautiful set of bandits in this scene.
Yeah, they are. Our friends. They're getting ambushed in like a rocky pass. And the group of robbers here feature Robbie Coltrane of Hagrid fame and Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson's in this film.
Of further great acting fame. Also Alan Armstrong, who's like, I think he's like a pretty big actor as well. He plays the leader Torquil.
He crushes it as well. He's really good in this.
Yeah, he's great.
For what he does.
He's got like a big, great outfit. He's got like this furry coat and stuff that he wears, but he's got this like chain neck piece with little nails sticking out of it. It's very edgy bandit aesthetic. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Robbie Coltrane, on the other hand, looks like Super Mario.
He sure does. He's just rocking like overalls and like partially like shaved sides.
Yeah,
and,
very ahead of his time.
Big old mustache on him. He does look a lot like Super Mario. It's great.
It's also not his voice in the actual non-Pink Floyd version.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
He's been dubbed, which I just found out.
Oh, man. I feel like a lot of people were dubbed. Like, Lissa's voice is almost definitely not her own. I'm pretty sure all of her dialogue is replaced.
I wonder if this was originally shot in like a different language or something.
Maybe. Although the voice sync wouldn't work though if that were the case, right? Oh man. I don't know.
Good point. Maybe just they had very different plans for it.
While we're talking
originally
about
everyone was to be British.
Yeah. That would have been that's kind of what they were hoping for, right? They've got while we're talking about people's outfits, we've got Liam Neeson, who's rocking just a mullet this whole time. Which
little braids as well, right?
Yeah, man. It's strong fashion sense here in this bandit party. Anyway, they get convinced to like come along because Colwyn's king, and he like holds the key to their manacles because they're all like escaped prisoners under Torquil. And they all basically will receive pardons if they come along on this journey. And Torquil weirdly won't remove his manacles until the job is done. He's pretty reluctant throughout the whole movie to remove his manacles, even when the job is done. Which is really weird, but, maybe he just likes manacles. It must be
something else going on. He loves those manacles.
He's just got used to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, some story there. It'll come up in Krull 2, Son of Krull.
Yeah.
Anyway, the team, they're moving on as we go into brain damage, and they get ambushed by a Slayer out in the field.
Yes.
Ergo's just like fucking picking flowers or doing something stupid, and then the Cyclops saves him, and like a bizarre sequence of shots. He like stands there, throws a spear from standing position. It pierces the Slayer, who does his like Slayer thing where his little like head bit comes out. And then the Cyclops takes one step backwards behind a tree.
Yeah.
We get like a little bit of background information from Yanir about the Cyclops, about how they were like also from another world and lost their eye through like a deal with the Beast, but he tricked them into seeing the future, but only the only future they can see is that time of their own death. So they're very sad creatures.
Yeah.
Yes.
A very cool idea that this film does not know what to do with.
No, yeah, again, I feel like this is just like someone thought this was a cool fantasy thing, and then, it's just dropped into this film, never used, really. Like, this will happen. Like, the Cyclops knows when his death is coming, but, like, it's still not that interesting.
No.
Doesn't really add anything.
Where do you think his other eye was? Because his eye is dead in the middle of his face.
Yeah, I think they traded their other eye for this power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to see
the
the future.
Where did it used to be? Did they used to have human wide-set eyes, or was there another eye
I feel like
above?
they were just like normal-looking dudes, and like they like morphed them into the Cyclops. They were originally called Biclops, Gareth.
Yeah.
You know, but never mind. It's very upsetting. He does some blinking here as well, and you're like, oh my god. I want to know who was in control of the Cyclops' eye on Krull, whether it was the actor or someone off screen who just like was in full command of whenever the Cyclops blinked. Because like the fucking work that goes into making this thing blink is wild.
I feel like it would have been super noticeable if he never blinked.
Oh my god, that's true.
Someone would have complained, but I'm complaining that he does blink because I don't like it.
It sucks. It's very upsetting looking. It's because he does it so deliberately every time. It's like right in your face.
He's definitely one of those guys who blinks manually.
Yes.
Just think about it like, oh, eye getting a bit dry. Blink.
Better do something about that one. Well, for him it is like a huge undertaking in his defense.
Maybe.
That his eye is like this horrific contraption made out of makeup and animatronics. So, you know, it takes a lot. Oh, man. But yeah, if we could get anyone at all on the pod, I want whoever was in control of the Cyclops' eye on Krull as a special guest star. For that's who I want to pass this podcast on to when I die. That person, if possible.
So I have to just hang out with them.
Yeah. Or your surrogate
movies.
will hang out with them, you know.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, depending on who dies first.
I'm going to pass mine on to one of the kids from the Bling Ring.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
the
actual criminals.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, actual criminals. Sweet, that'll be an interesting podcast.
Yeah, people would not be tuning in for the Pink Floyd element.
No. Maybe they would.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going into Eclipse as we fucking slip through like a weird 2D crack in the wall to go visit the Emerald Seer. It's like, this is so bad and pretty inexcusable. There's like just a line appears and then they go through like one comped shot onto the other. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Through like a little crack in the wall. And yeah, that's how we end the first playthrough of our album, Gareth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we get to hang out with the Blind Emerald Seer for the entirety of Breathe.
Yeah, here he is. He's chilling in his little cave. I like his look. He's like a very old man. Very, very old. Who's, just chilling out on a stool with like a small child who's his like attendant, because he's blind, I guess.
Yeah.
In the fantasy realm. Torquil just steals some loose emeralds in this cave. He's like, some treasure here. He's still like feels like getting his chains off is not good enough of a reward, and so he's still out there trying to make some cash out of this journey.
Well, bloody old Robbie Coltrane's also complaining that they're not getting paid
It's true.
the whole time.
It's very true. He, like, right up until he dies, he's just, like, fucking so angry about this whole journey. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's stroppy is the best word.
Stroppy is accurate. I'll give him that. We got Ergo befriending the child and, like, stealing his candy from him.
Yeah.
There's, like, an extended discussion about, like, how little boys have candy and how Ergo, like, wants some of that. Fucking Ergo sucks, man. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, what a weirdo.
Yeah. But we've got to cut away from that to some more rad fantasy shit happening. The crystal seer starts his magic, and it's the crystal in front of him starts spinning around very violently.
Yeah.
And he creates this, like, bad CGI image of the Black Fortress in the air that sort of, like, builds up out of, like, smoke or something. I think is what is supposed to be happening. Doesn't look great, but I'm into it. However, this ritual is disrupted by the beast's hand appearing and crushing the crystal just out of thin air into this. Disrupts the vision. And then they all get blown by, like, spectral wind, which is very funny.
Yeah, and we get my favourite line in the whole film, which is, "The beast does not like curious seers poking into his affairs."
Yes.
Yeah. Such a good line. Such a, like, this could be in a lyric in Dark Side of the Moon somewhere.
Oh, totally. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
If they did, like, a fucking, like, full-on fantasy album, I'd be so into it. Oh my god. They went, like, way hard into prog, and it was just, like, this, like, fucking fantasy story. Goddamn.
I guess Led Zeppelin are your high fantasy Pink Floyd,
Pretty
right?
much, yeah.
They're the ones who love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but they're, like, much more rocky than... They're, like, much more prog rock than Pink Floyd are, really. And they're, like, more of, like, an electronic group, I would say. A lot of the time. Although they have, like, ripping solos. Who's to say?
Have you been getting into bardcore?
Bardcore? What is this? No?
Oh my god, this is why they built the internet for you.
Oh, okay. They constructed it for me?
People get medieval instruments and recreate pop songs and, like, change all the lyrics to be like...
What?
Instead, like, there's a great one of Radiohead, Creep, and it's like, instead of "what the hell am I doing here?" it's like, "What in hell am I doing here? I doth not belong here."
Oh, that sounds very good.
It's great. Hildegard von Slayen, it might be, is the, like, artist.
Fantastic. I'll be looking that up after the show.
It's oh my gosh, I want a review next episode.
Oh yeah? We can do that.
Your favourite bardcore.
Sure. Yeah, we'll get into that. We got... yeah. Let's do it. So the beast disrupted the old vision, and so we can't obviously do the vision here, because there is only one place where the power of the beast cannot reach, Gareth, and that is in the Emerald Temple. Obviously.
Yes, and this is the perfect, everyone knows what the Emerald Temple is.
Oh, of course, it's in the fucking Great Swamp. The middle of the Great Swamp where the 3 trees stand, Gareth. Again, Colwyn is just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
let's go.
Okay.
So yeah, we've got more MacGuffins to go to. Off we go. On the Run is playing now.
Yeah.
We're wandering through some swamp lands. We're in this great swamp, and there's some slayers just standing in the mist. And then some fucking arise out of the lake. They're all shooting their lasers at the group. It's great. They're just, I feel like the slayers don't need to breathe, potentially. They're just, like, these weird, like, crustacean type people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they build their outfits under the ground out of, like, rocks and stuff.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's why they go back into the ground.
They pop out fully formed. I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is now canon. That's KRULL canon.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're having a bit of fighting. The Cyclops, he's helping out with his spear yet again. He's got only got one spear, but the fucking work that he does, his kill-death ratio in this film is out of control.
Yeah.
This single spear is putting in work. There's a big bad...
And it means he has to go back and get it every time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing about it is, he only needs one shot to get one kill, so,
That's true.
There you go. That's all you need.
If he ever missed, though, and just, like, the guy looked at the spear he dropped, and he's just like, uh-oh.
Oh, man. I'm pretty sure it's canon that they never miss, as well.
Oh, okay.
Like, because Ynir's like, Urgo's like complaining. He's like, you pointed a spear right at me, and Urgo's like, if that had been the case, you would have been dead.
That's right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Kind of impressive, especially with like the lack of depth perception that a Cyclops would have. We've got, anyway, they win. They have like a big battle. There's a lot of like, everyone gets some kills in, even bloody Robbie Coltrane gets some. It's pretty good. With a little dagger. One of the Slayers gets like a net thrown on them, which made me laugh a lot.
Yes.
Defeated by a tiny net. Fucking amazing. It's great. But yeah, they win. They like all round on this one Slayer who's just like presumably dies. And then this is also where the Cyclops officially joins the group. Hanging out. He's been following them for some time, and he's like, yeah, may as well make it official. I've saved you guys' asses twice.
Yeah.
I'll come along. They're all talking about things they wished for. What they would wish for if they were given a wish. Kind of irrelevant, but you know.
If it was like more character building,
I suppose
it would be great. But yeah, we find out the kid wants a puppy.
Yep.
Urgo thinks that's dumb, and then we do get the good line where the Cyclops would wish for ignorance.
Yeah, big respect to the Cyclops. It's a big same. If I had to hang out with this kid and with Urgo all the time, I too would be wishing for ignorance. So what else have we got? So we get more little interstitial things with Lissa and the Beast. This is pretty much a repeat of what happened before, except that there's a sequence where like Lissa is running away from a couple of Slayers, and the like walls of the castle like fold in around her. It's very upsetting looking. She's about to be crushed by these like two colliding. They look almost like giant teeth. It's fucking weird. But yeah. That happens, and in response, the Beast turns the bloody ground into quicksand underneath the adventuring party because that's its power. And then we get some quicksand stuff going on. I don't know how accurate to real quicksand this is. I don't really know much about quicksand, so I can't really speak to whether or not this looks good. It sort of looks like there is a bunch of sand floating on what appears to be water. And that could be what real quicksand actually is, but I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of sand. You knew, like, it took ages for the actors to get clean after that.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, because they come out, like, fucking coated in sand. But they rescue pretty much everyone except for a character who's called Minnow, who we've never encountered really before. Sort of just a red shirt guy in this, like, group of bandits. Dies.
Yeah, no one really mourns him either.
No, he's a very dramatic death by like reaching his hand out like Terminator 2 style, you know. But never mind.
We also have to count this because in the quicksand they're sinking.
Oh,
and we do count sinks.
That's true. It is technically a sink.
Yeah,
one sink there. Poor Menno. He sacrificed himself for the sink.
Yeah. Also, Pink Floyd do sing while you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking while this is happening. So it is a sink. Don't worry.
There's some actual sinking happening with this sinking. Yeah. So
the sinking is sinking.
There you go. Yes. While this quicksand diversion is happening, the Emerald Seer has been like planted away safely. Luckily, he wasn't in the danger zone. Don't know how being blind would have gone, but he's like just sort of sitting around, and then in the background we see another Emerald Seer, like an identical copy, fucking creeping up on him, and he comes over and touches his neck with like long extendy nails that are really bad. I feel like someone's gone in with the fucking Photoshop liquefy tool and has dragged out this man's fingernails in order to kill the other Emerald Seer.
Yeah.
Looks hilarious, but yes.
I loved it.
Yeah, the old Emerald Seer has been killed and replaced by another copy with like dark eyes.
Yes.
We will later find out this to be the Changeling, Gareth, a servant of the beast. I've got so much fucking power on this show because of that we're doing this movie. This happens to me like in regular life a lot, and that I'm just like get distracted and want to talk like this about dark prophecies and clouds on the horizon, things like that. But yeah, I can.
But that's how this whole movie talks.
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's maybe why I do that because of this film.
Is doing that voice like your, power stance? How you're supposed to like stand like a little superhero to make your like self feel more confident?
100%. It definitely makes me feel stronger. So yeah, it's at least a happy place for me. So yeah.
I'd love it. You in a job interview, but you slip into that voice.
Oh my god!
I graduated from.
Yes, years ago, I graduated from the university, where I toiled away at my degree. And then I just have to do that voice for the entire job. That's just who I am at work. Oh my god. It's like...
You're wearing like a massive cloak all the time.
Yeah, have you met James? He's that fantasy guy.
The Emerald Seer.
Yeah, the guy with the crazy voice. He came into work one day and his eyes were dark. Don't know why, but he seems like a good guy. Yes. So conveniently the Cyclops thinks something's up, and he notices the real Seer's body has been tossed into the quicksand, and it floats to the top with like a rumble. And yeah, he runs off to warn the group of this imposter among them. And yeah, he reaches the other group has reached the 3 trees at the center of the swamp, and only the one who seeks the knowledge may enter. Gareth. And yeah, he fucking saves the day yet again. The Cyclops, he hits his spear from across the map and gets him. The Changeling here turns fucking horrific. He becomes like a puppet in this instance, or a prosthetic or something, and turns into this really fucked up, screaming, screeching face version.
Yeah,
version
he
of the
melts, but also deflates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Big the Thing vibes for this. This is the thing it's gonna get in this movie. He also fucking coils into the ground as if he was a Slayer as well. So there you go. Good consistency there, at least. Yes, the Changeling, it is described as. Yeah. So now...
Everyone, the child mourns, and everyone surrounds the child to, I know it's so sad your only friend died, except for Colin, who just, wanders off and is like, where will we go now?
Yeah, so what are we doing now, boys?
Yeah.
And Ian's well, now that we don't have the Seer... the Seer was going to tell us where the fortress was, and he can't do anything. That was the only way, right? Wrong.
Yeah.
There's another way. And that's...
What?
Ynea didn't want to do it because it's his ex-girlfriend, the fucking... the widow of the web, Gareth.
Oh.
And so he's fucking... Your risk is no greater than mine, he says, and so he'll do it. I guess it'll be fine. Torkel's here, fucking being the widow of the web's hype man as well, being her name is Death. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big old risk. But anyway, they're gonna go on and do that at the end of a great gig. And yeah. Ergo turns himself into a puppy in order to cheer up the boy after his only friend has died.
Yeah.
Fulfilling his wish from earlier in the scene. But
of course, he wanted to, have a puppy forever, not just pick up his friend and hold him as a puppy. But,
seems to help anyway.
Yeah.
But
who am I to judge?
It's movie logic, I guess, but yeah. Oh well. The seer's fucking gone. You're not bringing him back.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Ynir, like, the crew, like, make camp among some trees and stuff, and Ynir goes off to do the Widow's Web quest thing. And that's all good. And then, like, the boys have a chat about, like, wives and stuff. Apparently, Liam Neeson's character has a whole bunch of wives. And he's like, yeah, I can sort out, like, one of my wives to come around here and cook us all some food. And that's exactly what happens. There's, like, a whole bunch of, like, ladies show up inexplicably and start, like, handing out food. It's pretty good. Good vibes around the camp. It's really weird that this happens, but, you know.
Yeah, pretty sexist.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, so the beast has sent a woman among them to tempt Colwyn. And we see... yes, so this is where we get the best scene in the whole movie, if you ask me. There's like... We cut to, like, a giant fucking hand set with, like, Lissa standing in it. She's trying to, like, escape the castle. And, yeah, she goes into a room and then, like... The robe and crown appear before her again. And then fucking... She's like... No, that's not... Sorry, that's not what happens. I need to reset, because a lot happens in the span of about 3 seconds, so I need to get this right. So the robe and cloak that she was seeing earlier appear on her. She's, like, wearing them. And then, while that's happening... A giant hand bursts forth from the earth, like the beast hand from earlier that we saw.
Yeah.
Gets
as big as she is.
Yeah, it gets set on fire, and then, while on fire, it morphs into a rose, which is also on fire, and then extinguishes. That happens in, like, the space of 3 seconds, and it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like, if you don't enjoy movies, you'll enjoy that moment.
Oh my god, it's fucking intense. I have no idea what it means, but it sure is in this film. The beast is, like, trying to, like, tempt Lissa now by, like, taking the form of Colwyn. Appears as him in the room, but with, like, evil beast eyes.
Yeah.
We've also seen what he looks like at this point as well, which is just sort of like a weird big alien guy.
Yeah.
With, like, sharp
Very
teeth.
reptilian mouth, but other than that...
He's got little holes in the side of his head and, like, a big old, like, brain. He looks really silly, but I like him a lot.
Yeah, the film also barely ever shows him in focus.
Yeah, it's because they know that he looks a bit dumb, and I think they show him out of focus or in darkness, or surrounded by smoke, or obscured by, like, other stuff. So... You know, they aren't fully
it's like
confident.
they're trying to do a Jaws, but not quite right.
Yeah, they aren't fully confident in their beast that they made.
Yeah.
But, you know, yes.
If you learn anything from this show, it's be confident in your beast.
Be confident in your beast form.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want merch of that. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately this doesn't work. Lissa says there's no love in that form, which is more great dialogue.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So instead he, like, shows a vision of Colwyn and this woman that he's sent to woo him. And if not successful, then this woman will just kill him. But unfortunately for the beast, this woman, of course, falls in love with Colwyn in the short time that they've hung out together here at this campfire.
Yeah, they've had, like, maybe said 17 words to each other tops.
Yeah, but she's in love, obviously.
Yeah.
And, yeah, could have killed him in an instant with her creepy claw hand, but didn't because she fell in love with him. Really dumb.
Yeah.
And Lissa's like, suck it, nerd. Even your, like, followers suck. It is you who are betrayed. It's so funny. But, yeah. The beast's pissed and retreats off to come up with new dastardly ways to wreck the day. And yeah, cut to the Ynir and the Widow's Web, Gareth.
Yes.
This is a great sequence. I love the Widow's Web. It's like this cluster of eggs, I would describe, in the middle of, like, hanging spider webs in this huge cabin. Quite clearly a model.
Yeah.
But, like, very Thunderbirds feeling throughout. It's great. But, yeah, Ynir's, like, trying to make his way over to this, like, thing in the middle where the Widow of the Web resides, and a obviously like toy see-through skeleton, not skeleton, spider pops out.
Yeah.
And is starting to come over. He's moving his mandibles around very hungrily, trying to get over there. The soundtrack for the sequence is hilarious, by the way. It's really good, but we aren't hearing it.
Yeah. The scene actually I found has played so much better with different music.
Yeah.
And it might be because the whole time he's crawling across this spider web, Ynir is yelling out, Lissa!
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming back and forth, trying to get the information across here that, like, Ynir knows who she is, and for, like, to get some extra time and all this stuff. Like, she flips an hourglass inside there, giving a bit more time to get there. It's a one-off move that she can do. There is another... this sequence takes a really long time for him to get there. And like, there's a fucking scary skeleton face just chilling in this area of, like, another adventurer who just died trying to get to the Widow's Web. It's funny. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't time it, but I feel like he spends more time trying to cross this web than he does actually speaking to the Widow of the Web.
Seems about right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually he fucking makes it there. I've written thankfully in my notes because I got sick of writing about it. And he makes it there over the line, the old man died, which, like, I don't know, he didn't die. So...
But he did sort of seal his fate. Well, we also kind of...
That's kind of an anti-sync, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He also emerges, like, from the web as they say old man. Like, we see an old man's face. But yeah, definitely an anti-sync.
Yeah. So we transition to, like, Any Color You Like. And Lissa is very old. This Widow of the Web lady is also called Lissa. They share the name. I think the idea is that they thought that the prophecy was about them originally. Like that there would be a queen called Lissa, and she would be her child, and that child would rule the galaxy. You know. But it turns out to be about this other Lissa and this other Colwyn. Again, who were, like, both born into royalty. So probably a much clearer line to the whole ruling the galaxy thing. But anyway. This sequence is pretty fun. She's like, she sees, like, her younger self in the mirror, which is cool. She's like, gets granted the ability to see how Ynir sees her. Or something like that, or like how he remembers her, and then her, like, age shifts, which is pretty cool. She does say that they had a son together, but she killed him. which is
because she couldn't kill him,
which is
she killed the son instead. Yeah,
like I don't. That's not a good revenge. It's just will give you more heartbreak, I think.
Yeah,
but okay. Ynir's like, it's fine, I forgive you, like, immediately. But yeah, she obviously can't forgive herself. So she's like, the plan is, she does see where the Black Fortress will rise for him, which is in it's in the desert or something like that. I can't remember now.
The granite desert?
The Iron Desert, I think it is.
Iron Desert, yeah.
Yeah. It will be next, but of course she's like, but that doesn't matter because you can't leave, like, you're trapped here now. And she had to use her hourglass magic to fucking get him there. There's no way he's getting out in time. But they hatch a plan. She's gonna give up her life. So inside the hourglass is her life force. And potentially other people's life force if they hold the sand. So as the sand runs out of the hourglass, so too does her life run out. And so she breaks the hourglass and then, like, fills his hand with the sand. But once all the sand rolls out of his hand, he'll also die. And potentially she's already, like, dead at this point. She'll die in a couple minutes or whatever because of this. But yeah. It's very convoluted, this whole thing, but
absolutely, yeah.
They sort of have to explain it. I feel like this is the kind of thing that would have to be explained over multiple pages of a book, but But, you know, it's, again, more like insane fantasy shit. It's fun. He's got, so there's now a mad dash for him to escape. And he lets, like, a little bit of sand drop out of his hand to keep the spider at bay, because before that, like, made him stop and pause, you know?
Yeah.
And just sort of, when the spider stops, it also just, like, moves its little front pincers over and over again.
Yes, and it does that very much in time to some Pink Floyd going out, out, out.
But yeah, he manages to escape without all of his sand running out, thankfully. And yeah, like, the spider's fucking obviously really pissed and jumps up on the egg and, like, jumps around, like, fuck!
Yeah.
I've never let anyone escape. God damn it.
Yeah. I wanted another skeleton.
Yeah. Same, bro. But yeah, poor Lissa's gonna die when the sand runs out, and yeah, Aeneas is, like, running back to the group with his life slowly draining. He's fucking screaming about where the fortress will rise. Imagine if he didn't make it. That would have sucked.
Yeah. It would have been very much this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then they've got to find some other crazy MacGuffin. It's like, we've got to find the other old one, the spare one that we had. He lives in the...
And he, too, was formerly married to an ancient evil and all this stuff.
He lives in the Onyx Crucible at the end of the world. You know, that kind of thing. But,
that's good.
But no, yeah, he manages to deliver the message to the crew, who are all just still chilling at where they made camp, which is very funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, he, like, dies. The last of the sand runs out of his hand over a cliffs.
Yeah,
awesome.
This is the worst Colwyn moment, because he's legit smiling as his hero dies.
His mentor is dying, and this is the, like, Obi-Wan moment equivalent in Star Wars, and he's just grinning away, like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he says, like, my race is run, and the fucking, the end of Eclipse happens. He also says that Colwyn shouldn't squander his power, which he is about to do a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Aeneas dies very dramatically, throwing his head back, which is very funny. And then he's like, the fucking Iron Desert is 1,000 leagues away. What are we going to do? And then immediately, from off...
Wait, I'm sorry. We've got to, like, picture yourself in a writing room.
Okay.
Here, you've ridden yourself into a corner that they have to get to the Iron Desert. In fact, no, you haven't ridden yourself into a corner. You're choosing where everything is. You don't have to make this 1,000 leagues away.
No, Iron Desert, it's on the board. Iron Desert, 1,000 leagues away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's the one thing that will get you there?
Fire mares. Fire mares can run 1,000 leagues in a day.
Oh, so this is our gormless Cyclops.
Yeah.
His, like, animatronic face, an actor who cannot see anything beneath his, like, prosthetics, delivering the line, fire mares.
Yeah.
Everyone going, of course, fire mares can travel 1,000 leagues in a day.
Obviously, Gareth. It's just so great that it's said from off screen. I fucking love it.
Yeah. As if the audience are yelling out, fire mares, guys.
Yeah. For us,
this thing you've never mentioned.
For us, we get absolute silence over this as well, which is fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, it sums up this movie in a single line, and, like, having it here at the end of playthrough 2 is really good for that, you know?
Yeah.
We get to fully enjoy it. Anyway, so that we cut to, at the start of playthrough 3, the fire mare wrangling sequence, or aka potential animal cruelty. A whole bunch of horses are just being, like, real horses are just being run around, like, a ravine. Overbreathe and that. And yeah, it seems like a lot of these actors are getting, like, really dangerous with these horses. There's, like, people jumping from cliffs onto the backs of horses. There's one, like, Robbie Coltrane is, like, trying to ride a horse and it's desperately trying to buck him off. There's a bit with Liam Neeson hanging off the neck of a horse among, like, a bunch of other horses. It's crazy that these actors
Imagine if we'd lost, like, these two legendary actors.
Yeah, Liam Neeson
KRULL.
gets kicked in the head by a horse while making KRULL after the, like, 83rd take of them trying to jump onto a horse. Fucking insane. Could well have happened. Anyway, eventually they wrangle up some of these horses, and Colwyn's stoked about it, but the Cyclops has to stay behind because it's his time to die. This is the death that he saw in the future, and if he refuses this death, he will bring great pain on himself.
Yeah.
Is what it says. And so, yeah, he says, like, goodbye to a bunch of people. Even fucking Ergo is very upset by this. He's like, we had no time to, like, get to know...
which is quite beautiful.
Yeah, it's very sweet. I feel like, they're potentially closer friends than they thought. Good turnaround there on Ergo's behalf. I like that. Showing some growth. Yeah.
Yeah, they ride away on their fire mares.
Yes.
And I just thought it would be really funny because it cuts to the Cyclops just standing there watching.
Yeah.
If it had just been like he's standing there and there's a rock falls on him or something.
Yes, a big polystyrene rock just falls from nowhere and kills him. Yeah.
Makes a little like fart noise as it squishes him or something.
He's done. That would have been great. Yeah. But no, he has more work to do, amazingly. So we're getting on the run for this journey on fire mares over to the fortress. Again, this is our like closest car analogy that we were mentioning earlier, right?
Yes.
Fire mares are a car equivalent in this fantasy realm, so I'll take it. They're Russian. On the Run is working for a big horse race chase through the sky with flaming hooves. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's essentially the whole length of On the Run as well.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. The only like key difference between fire mares and regular horses is they can fly, one, and two, they can create fire when they run really fast.
Yeah.
That's their whole deal. But besides that, look like regular horses, so, you know.
We do get some amazing, like, everyone riding their horses in front of a green screen.
Oh, yes. Everyone's stoked.
Yeah. They're so stoked. They're all grinning. Some people are doing, like, horse tricks again.
Yeah. They're loving this bit.
Yeah.
They didn't like the wrangling part of the horses that was all done, like, in an actual, like, location. Once they got these horses into, like, a green screen, like, in a lot somewhere, like, then they were having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
Anyway. We get to the crash sound and On the Run perfectly when they reach the bottom of the fortress.
Right.
And it's almost sunrise. Into it.
I'm going to say that this is exactly what I wanted out of an On the Run sequence.
Right? We finally got it, I think. We've been waiting a long time and we got there. It's been fire mares that would do it for us.
Yeah, we should have known.
Obviously.
The most obvious answer.
Yeah. It's been in front of us the whole time. Fucking hell. So we got the clock sounds and time also sync up with something. All the little portholes in the side of the castle, or like murder holes or whatever they're called. You know, like the little things that the like doors roll back, revealing some slayers to shoot them out of. You know.
Yeah.
That aligns with all the clocks going off, so I'm into that. We got the Cyclops. They're all getting shot at, and they're like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do?" But then we see the Cyclops riding a fire mare, holding his spear forwards.
Of course.
I feel like this should have been the cover for KRULL. Like, just this one shot of the fucking Cyclops furiously riding forwards in front of a green screen. Like, that's exactly what this movie is. So good. Oh my god. But he's here to save the day. He climbs on up and, like, fucking gets shot, shrugs it off. Doesn't care. He fucking takes down a Slayer with a spear inside, and then he's, like, holding open one of these holes as it, like, starts to close off. And, everybody manages to sneak in past him. But unfortunately, the painful death, the great pain that he brought upon himself, was getting crushed in this door.
Yeah, it is not nice.
No.
It is gross and, like, sad watching him get squashed in a door.
I mean, they told us it would happen, right? This is like it was prophesized and we should have seen it, but fuck. Getting crushed in a door is a bad way to go. They try to save him, it doesn't really work out. The Slayers are after them, so they all run off. Fucking Torquil does one of my favorite parts of this whole movie. He's, like, pinned to where he was trying to save the Cyclops, right?
Yeah.
By, like, he's under fire from the Slayers. And in order to get away, he, like, goes, yeah! And then he does, like, a little forward roll and stumbles. Like, and clearly is just sort of standing there for a couple seconds where he could have easily been shot and then runs away. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's the worst maneuver, but they kept it in the film.
Yeah.
Oh, I love his little roll that he does. Oh, I forgot to mention, Robbie Coltrane died on the side of the castle. He got killed. It's very sad. And he's like, the journey was worthwhile. He's like suddenly changed his tune now that he's dying. But yeah, anyway. I don't really know why.
This begins a lot of deaths as well.
Oh,
like pretty much all of these bandits, one by one, brutally murdered.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I guess we always knew they were called Slayers, but still.
Yeah, they're here to do one thing, and that's slay, baby. Yeah.
Yas Queen.
Yas Queen. We see more of the interior of the castle now. There's like lots of like waterfalls. It feels like very like Giger-esque, right? There's like a really cool like Lord of the Rings-ass long bridge, but it's all like warped and sort of looks like it's made out of like frozen water or something. It looks really weird. I can't really describe it with words, but yeah, it's very odd looking.
Again, this is following Alien, so maybe they squished a little bit of that in there as well.
Throw some Alien in there for spice, maybe. So this like the boy fucking Titch, I think his name is, and Ergo gets separated from the group. They fall down like a little hole in the floor that opens up. Again, the castle's like this really weird shaped thing that can move around. And there's all kinds of traps in it, etc. But yeah, they fall down this little hole and slide down. And in order to save the day, Ergo transforms himself into a tiger. A real tiger, Gareth, is in this movie, for one. Which kind of blew my mind when it happened. Also, a lot of scenes with this tiger and a very small boy.
Yeah, you feel such a discomfort looking at this. Yeah.
I feel, like this film and some like Jodorowsky films, I've always felt like it's on the verge of someone dying from the animals being used in the film, you know?
Yeah.
It's so fucking wild that there's a real tiger here.
This tiger is not happy. This tiger looks grumpy and sad and ready to murk a boy.
I mean, it's in this like fucking insane set as well.
Yeah.
Oh, what a bad day. Anyway, so he's protecting the boy, like fucking takes a swipe at a Slayer. There's a funny shot of someone clearly wearing like a fucking tiger glove and attacking a Slayer's head, which is great. Yeah. The party reach where the princess is hiding, or being held. And Colin, of course, must go in alone, Gareth.
Yes.
And so the rest of the party fucking jog on, go somewhere else. I don't really know what happens, why they move on.
Oh, they fight another Slayer.
Oh, okay.
This is when Liam Neeson gets murdered as well.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
He goes down. And
when Pink Floyd say One Day Closer to Death.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just like, here I'll stay. I'm done. The journey's over for me, friend. Oh, poor Liam Neeson. I do like that like both these guys die in like such quick succession and both go on to do such great things. Like,
yeah, they were just trying to get out of the film as quickly as possible.
There you go. They made it. Yeah, they get like pretty grandiose death sequences as well, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fucking we get Great Gig playing as now is the time, Colin has decided. It's time to use the glaive.
Yeah.
And so he throws it out, and he's using it to cut his way in to this little, like, holding cell that Lissa is in.
Almost like egg that she's in.
Yeah, it takes forever to cut through this. The glaive is sort of spinning in place and slowly cutting through this wall. Later on, we see, like, the fucking line that it's done to cut its way in. And it's awful. It's maybe the worst pattern that you could make to try and break down a wall. It's great. But yeah, also...
This begins the story of the glaive, where to use it is just Colwyn holding one arm stretched out and looking optimistic.
Yes, he's got to furiously focus with his arm outstretched.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get a lot of good Colwyn faces out of this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Torquil and the remaining members of the party get sucked through like a wall into like another trap room with more like bad computer animation. This trap consists of very slow-moving spikes that extend out of the wall in a non-uniform pattern. Out of like little like holes in the wall. They look really weird. They are very slow, and I feel like quite easy to avoid, but it seems like...
I mean, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's true. It's giving these guys a lot of trouble, anyway, to like figure out how best to like Tetris themselves among these things. And a guy called Baldorf, I think, another like fairly unnamed character, gets like... he like... is standing in the middle of the room, like, perfectly fine, and runs back to Torquil, dropping his dagger. And, like, his fucking hubris, he goes in and tries to retrieve his dagger, and that's what gets him killed. Like, what an
brutally
idiot.
Again, slowly stabbed by this wall.
Yeah, very upsetting seeing that him, like, get stabbed in the chest. Some good, like, getting stabbed acting, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like he's singing Great Gig in the Sky, which is playing at that point.
Sure does. He's howling it out for us, the boys, as he's getting punctured. Yeah. But there you go. Shouldn't have gone for that dagger. Didn't matter that much, did it? Maybe it was an heirloom gift from...
it was his glaive. He'd gone and rescued it from some lava as well.
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah. So, finally, Colwyn cuts his way through after several, like, glaive arm extensions, and, they embrace Lissa and him. It's very, very touching. But yes, they've got to fight the beast away from the center, because with the center is where he is most powerful, Gareth. And, it's like they fucking run out, and Colwyn is fucking using the glaive for anything now. He, like, takes out a couple slayers with it, easy as. Like, tosses the glaive, one hit, one kill. And I think, actually, like, he throws it and it kills two at the same time. Like, fucking... I wish Ynir had either said that he could be using it a hell of a lot more, or it sucks that he said, you've got to wait for the right time to use it, and now he's just using it for everything. Yeah.
It's bad writing.
Yeah, it's no good.
And think of all the prestige actors who could have been, like, spared if he'd been using the glaive since day one.
Exactly. We could have had Liam Neeson still alive. He could have, fucking... Colwyn could have gone on and been in Frasier, for all we know. Like, the whole destiny of the universe could have changed with this one simple change. He also uses the glaive to fucking knock down a bunch of rocks. Like, just fucking seal away the beast inside some rocks. Doesn't do anything, obviously. The beast is tough. He busts out of there, but fuck.
Yeah.
May as well use the glaive. It seems to be good at basically everything. Anyway, the beast, he comes out of his big egg, he bursts out of it, and they have a bit of a battle over money playing.
This battle is exactly the same as when he was trying to chop down a wall. He's just holding his arm out while the glaive just cuts the beast.
Does all the work,
And this entire battle is only 1 minute long.
Yeah, it sort of consists of the beast raising his arms up into the air, like a fucking unfinished animation, and shooting a little beam out of his mouth, a little, orb, and the glaive hitting that, and it going back and forth a couple times, and then sort of the beast just giving up and watching the glaive sort of zoom around for a little bit, and then, it, sticks in his arm, and, the beast is, furious about this, and it goes down, easy as. It seems like he's beaten the beast. And Colwyn, standing outside, is like, okay, that job done. Time to retrieve the glaive. And so he extends his arm out, and we get a shot of the glaive sort of wiggling around in the beast's body.
This stuff goes for another minute. This goes as long as the whole fight, him trying to rescue his glaive.
That's great, yeah. Meanwhile, Colwyn's just fucking showing so much exertion in his face trying to retrieve this glaive through magic. When he could find... He eventually goes over and, just walks over to try and grab it. But
Yeah.
the amount of time spent on him trying to retrieve it with magic is hilarious. My favorite part
So
about it
bizarre.
is that, like, right at the end of this, it, like, sinks in, like, deeper.
Yeah, he's done the opposite.
Yeah, clearly someone is inside this beast costume holding the end of the glaive and, like, wiggling
Yeah.
it around, which is very funny. Yes, so yeah, it goes in to retrieve it, but the beast is still alive. Fucking grabs the glaive with his hand and is like, oh, fuck, and so they have to run away. Yeah. They are sort of walking among... They run off to some, like, cave area with a bunch of stalagmites and stalactites around.
Yeah.
And they don't have the glaive to fight. So what are they going to do? Well, they have the fucking fire magic from the wedding. Remember?
Yes.
So yeah, Lissa still has the power of the fire in her hand. Presumably she couldn't have used it to escape in the first place. Unknown.
Yeah, she has the ability to summon the fire, so like
Right?
she's more useful.
You would think.
But maybe she needed her love.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe they have to be
Yeah.
together to use it. That might
Yeah,
make sense.
I'm hoping for that.
Okay. Yeah, he does say, like, it's us, the power. And yeah, anyway, he, like, takes the fire from her hand and fucking blasts it out of his fingertips at the beast.
Yeah.
Who sort of just...
Now, again, this could be so cool if it wasn't the exact same motion,
Oh,
except
yeah.
now fire's coming out of his hand.
Exactly the same as throwing the glaive, yeah.
Yeah, he would have shown up for the next day on set and he was like, yeah, final battle, what am I going to do? And it's like, you know, remember what you did yesterday when you were fighting the beast?
Yeah.
You remember the day before when you were chopping down a wall? Yeah, just that again.
Yeah, easy. Easy money.
Yeah.
That's
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 true.
potentially why in one of these shots. So the beast is just sort of spiraling around on fire, very upset. Sort of gets defeated very easily by this. There's a couple. So he blasts him with fire like multiple times, and there's one
Yeah.
shot of just Colwyn's face, and he is like no expression, like completely dead face, just staring down, like blasting fire forwards.
Yeah.
like.
He's gone soulless.
Yeah. Just shooting fire at this beast over and over and over again until it dies. And then, yeah, the beast is defeated. Good times. Yeah. They have a bit of a hug, and then they've got to run away because the whole castle is fucking falling apart.
Yeah.
With the beast's death, the trap retracts, or the spikes go back into the wall, saving Torquil and the other guy, who I don't know the name of. He's got like a stick.
Yeah, and he has no sons. That's his big
That's
quote.
his whole deal, yeah.
Yeah, one stick, no sons.
Yeah, fair enough. But anyway, they get away, and they go and find Ergo and the boy who are still around. Torquil's pretty keen to get out of there, but he's like, no, we can't abandon anyone. So they go and find them. He's been like, Ergo's been like injured in his like battle as a tiger, effectively. He's sort of lying down, not doing so well. But yeah, there's like a fun like escape sequence where they are running through what we saw before with like the big bridge which falls apart as they run across it, which is pretty nice. Everything's
Yeah.
sort of exploding with like pretty much. It looks like they made a model of this castle, right? Like a scale size model, and then bought a bunch of fireworks, put them all inside the castle, and set them all off at once. It's sort of what
perfect.
That was how this was filmed. If I had anything to do with it, I think that is what is happening here. But yeah, they managed to escape again with like using the fire magic. As soon as fucking you give Colwyn power and no one to tell him not to use it, he's gonna be using it all damn day. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus. But anyway, yeah, they make their way out, and the castle like disintegrates and then like flies off into space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind
And
of
they sit in some lovely grass and just watch it like they're having a lovely picnic.
I kind of like that. They all like collapse into like a field of like flowers, and they're like, oh, it's all done. Yeah, the day is won.
Yeah.
Ergo says he should have stuck to transforming into puppies, which is his final joke of the film. Torquil is basically free now. He gets handed the key to his manacles, and he's like, I think I'll keep them. It's like, what? I mean, and then Colwyn's like, well,
Must be setting up for sequels.
yeah, obviously. He gives him. He says the key is his. And earlier we found out that the only the king and the Lord Marshal of the king have the key, and so it's saying that Torquil is the new Lord Marshal, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, they all happily walk away into the sunset, away from the castle to.
Yeah,
They saved
the
the
credits
day.
just roll as we watch them walk.
Yeah.
They walk for the whole credits.
That's right. We get, the prophecy sort of gets run through again in case you forgot before the credits,
Yeah.
but that's it, man. Walking to the credits. Like me, walking into the credits. What did you think? How did it sink, Gareth?
I mean, the thing about this film is now we know what I think.
Yeah.
But how did it sink?
Yeah, it's true.
I think, again, we had that perfect Fire Mirrors moment.
Yes, that was very good. In fact,
But-
the start of playthrough 3 entirely synced very well for me, I think. And that was...
Yes, once the film kind of gets going, once it like stops just kind of idling around,
Yeah.
looking at different things.
Yeah, once we
And,
stop going through fantasy MacGuffins and actually
Yeah.
get to the plot, that's when things sort of go well. So,
Yeah, even for its sinking. I feel like we have to tie this one with old Galaxy Quest, right?
yeah, that makes sense to
So
me.
another 5?
Yep, into it. A
Cool.
Christmassy 5. I keep forgetting this is supposed to be a Christmas episode, but
Oh yeah.
whoops.
I give it ho 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 ho.
I give it 5 golden rings, Gareth,
Oh.
from the famous song, the Christmas song. You know the one with rings.
Yeah. Pink Floyd, Money.
Yeah, that's it. Oh man. Okay, so that's another episode in the books. That is one of the last ones for the year.
Yeah.
What is the plan for us wrapping up the year, Gareth? Do you want to lay it on me?
Well, there's only one way to finish a year and to start the next year, and that is, of course, by watching KRULL and then starting the new year by watching KRULL again.
Yeah.
So, do you have much planned for your week to end the year? Because I think you're going to have to watch KRULL again, my friend.
Let's do it. I'm ready. I will watch KRULL
Okay.
until the end of time in a similar fashion to me listening to this Pink Floyd album to the end of time. So,
Aw.
but it has been 36 weeks of us doing this album, so maybe we do something else.
Yeah, well, why not we round out the year? This sounds so fake because we have planned this.
Oh, yeah.
But we're acting like we're surprising each other.
What?
James, why don't we just round out the year by, syncing our top albums of the
Oh
year?
my gosh, that's such a brilliant idea that you've had just now. Oh, let's
Yes,
do
not
it.
months and months ago.
No. Yeah, I would be down to do that, I reckon. Yeah, so lock it in. We've got albums of the year synced with
Yeah.
KRULL again
Yes.
coming up at the start of the next year for you guys. So look forward to that. Awesome.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh, and until then, I've been Gareth Blackler.
I've been James Barron.
Have a great, safe Christmas and
Yeah.
holidays and everything.
Have a
and
good holiday season.
yeah, have a great Krulliday season.
Oh, there we go.
And we'll see you on The Widow of the Web.
On the widow of the web, the prophecy be true. Oh.